What's up, guys?
Hello, everybody.
New week, new meeting. All right.
Hello again.
Hey, Nathaniel.
All right. So please add your name to the attendees list. Okay. Hey, Nathaniel, this workflow to publish a package from code owner tag. Is this like an urgent thing? Like, is this what we defined as what we're going to be doing for the workflow? I'm just reading Aaron's comments. So
No, I wouldn't say it's urgent, but I would say it's ready in terms of code completeness. It doesn't add too much code. It does solve the issue of we eventually will need a way to release collector or contrib components that is easy for
Yeah.
maintainers. So this is something that they did in .NET, which just allows a tag to be set. So I thought I could add on to it and do that here.
Hey, Nathaniel, are you able to add that skip change log tag by yourself?
I don't think Nathaniel's an approver. That's why.
Okay. I see.
Even a approver wouldn't be able to, because you can add a tag to any branch, but you can't add it to a main branch. Only a maintainer can add it to a main branch.
Really? I used to
So-
be able to add this tag when I was an approver.
To the main branch.
Wait, what tag are we talking about? We're talking.
Not
So
to the
this
main
PR
branch.
adds the ability to add
Oh,
a
no,
tag that
He's talking
matches
about
the
the
main.
he's talking about the code owner, the changelog tag that you need to
The
get the
GitHub
PR
tag.
passing.
Yeah, the
Oh,
GitHub
sorry, I thought we were
PR.
talking about the approve workflow.
Yeah, sorry,
part.
the GitHub PR label, not
Yeah,
the
the
tag.
label.
Yeah, approvers can add labels. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. All right, I'll add this tag. Skip change. There you go.
Okay.
Nice.
Cool. CI crisis. Anyone? Diego,
Yeah,
did you put that?
I added that. Yes, just something that I want to discuss here so that everybody is aware of what's happening. We are kind of facing a CI crisis. A bunch of PRs are getting stuck running their tests. And apparently this is not only happening to us, but this problem has been reported by other members of the community. Alex started a thread in the Slack channel. Let me add this link to the thread here. And it may be related to the fact that the OpenTelemetry GitHub organization has some resource limit, and we may have reached that limit. So we are trying to rerun the PRs that get stuck. I now think that's making the problem even worse. I guess so, because we're taking more resources. I filed a ticket yesterday against GitHub. So sorry for the inconveniences. We're a bit powerless in this situation here. So I wanted to give the attendees of this meeting the situation that we are in right now.
Nice, yeah. So, everyone will just have to wait a bit for their, PRs to run. So, I think that's Nathaniel, that's what you're gonna be waiting on for this aggregated resource PR. So,
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, can't do anything about it. I just wanted to know if there's something that I did wrong, but we'll just wait for the test to be ready.
I see. Cool. Nice. Break early if container ID is found. Oh, I'm also not sharing my screen. One sec. Alright, go ahead.
Yeah, this was just something that I missed when I added the resources detectors the first time. It's literally just this one line change here and in the other detector. Alex wanted me to add a test. I didn't add a new test, but I just modified the existing test, which what it does is every container will have this file called proxy group, which contains this information about it. Before, every line had the correct container ID, but the change here just makes it so that subsequent container IDs are these bogus ones, so that the detector should be able to just pull it out from the very first line, which already has the container ID. It shouldn't keep trying to read the lines from the next ones because they should always be the same container ID. So this is just a quick fix for that.
I see. Can you add like a comment in here? Just saying, just implying that like the first container ID we find is the one that like everything else, if exists, would be the same.
Yep, I'll do that.
Yep, that's good. Cool, thanks.
Thanks.
Yeah, I'll take a look at that. PR to outline what it means to be a code owner. Yeah, so I think we put aside the contrib and code owner discussions for a while right now because we're focused on all the distro stuff. Um, is there something you want to say about this, Nathaniel? Like anything that's like urgent right now? Because I haven't really taken a look at this much.
I guess I just want to answer any questions that you guys might have instead. It's a very small change. And I know, for example, Dale commented like concerns like, we're not even ready for 1.0. Like we can't assume that we are. And that's totally fair. I agree with that. This PR, all it does is just do one of the little things that we need to do before we get to 1.0 and contrib, and that is just define what a code owner is and just do that separately. So I just added the things that I've seen other SIGs do and address people's comments about what a code owner should be, and just put that all in the code owner file in one place for everybody to look at. So I think this can be merged today because it's, again, just updating like docs and stuff. But if you guys have questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Yeah, Leighton, can you scroll up a little bit, please, to there. Let me just. Okay, can you scroll down, please? A little bit. Okay. Okay, can you scroll down a little bit, please? Okay. Okay. Yeah, I think as it is right now, I'm okay with what's being stated here. I just I think I was stepping away a little bit from the purpose of this PR when I added some comments, because I was concerned about the fact that the version number and the existence of a code owner are separate things, not necessarily related to one another, because a package may be released and a code owner may leave their duties afterwards, or a package may have a code owner, but the code, I mean, work is still being done and it is still not 1.0. I think the only objection that I may find is that this list that is here, it kind of misses the one important thing about 1.0, and it's the fact that the package has an API that has that is considered to be something that the other can commit to. So Nathaniel, maybe I don't know if you like just to add that line, because or maybe what we should do is just add a link to the semantic versioning definition of 1.0 in that list, so that people know, hey, we need to be compliant with this, which is the only thing I think is missing from that list.
I agree. If we're gonna have this checklist right here, just a line that's stating like, you know, besides from like what it means to be stable in terms of the open telemetry community, right? The like the definition of stable and stuff. There's like a excerpt in the specs page. And then these that's fine with me.
Are you guys referring to the instrumentation API itself or to semantic conventions?
Like what it means to be stable, right? Like, I'm pretty sure Diego was talking about semantic conventions.
It's semantic versioning, not semantic conventions.
Okay, seems like we're talking about different stuff. So the purpose of this is just to have code owners defined what that is, right?
Yeah.
And what it means to be stable, right?
Mhm.
Do we
Yeah.
care about like what versioning means, right? Like that's nothing to do with anything, right? Like I understand like going to the specifics of it is like what we have to worry about in terms of like what we version things and what it means to break and stuff.
Uh,
But what it means to be stable, it's like I'm like the scope of this PR is pretty small, right? Like, do we need to worry about all this stuff?
what I mean is that the only thing that we're missing from that list is just a link to the semantic versioning website or something that says, okay, that you code is considered stable by this definition. Because so far these 4 points that 3 points that we have here in this list, I mean, there are things that are important for us, I'm sure, but are
Oh, I see what you mean.
do not address the very meaning of not having a 0 as the first version number.
Yeah, but we don't have that for any of the other packages, right? And we still released 1.0. Right?
I
It's like
mean,
some semantic versioning, like in our what's it called, rationale.md that I created, we already outlined that all of the packages follow Semver, so I think that's
okay.
enough, right?
Well, if we have it somewhere, then that's enough. Then I guess I'm okay with this PR.
I mean, yeah, it's like aside from these things, can you think of anything else? And also like does that fix this conversation that you had, or?
Um, Mm, yeah, I think what's happening is that this conversation that I was having, it was getting off topic, and it's something that we can discuss later. I mean, for the purposes of this PR, I think it's enough as it is right now.
I see. So just looking at this, Nathaniel, like I don't think we need to answer the question of them leaving just yet. I think we do have to kind of like have a plan of what it means to be a code owner and like all of the, you know, what that means in terms of like open source and everything, right? Um, if we want to come up with a robust, comprehensive list right now, right? Like if a package has a code owner and we mark it and everything else is fine, we mark it as stable. Like, what do we do if the code owner leaves or something, right? Or like they're no longer a code owner? Like, what is
Yeah.
our plan at that point?
Yeah, my reasoning for not doing anything right now was one, like it hasn't happened yet, so I guess it'd be hard to say what we should do when it happens. And two, like if they're a code owner and they release it as 1.0, there's no need to like unrelease it, right? Once they have released it. And so sure, like if they leave and they're not active, we just won't release like 1.1 or 1.2, but 1.0 as it stands should be standalone, independent of there being a code owner or not. I'd be happy to add a list of things we should do. Like, I don't know, that would get a code owner like kicked off the project or something, but like we don't need anything to unrelease a package as 1.0, right? Once the code owner has gone through all the steps, and even if they
Yeah,
do leave,
um,
that's unfortunate.
I don't think I was
think-
referring to specific to unreleasing a package. It's more like it would be part of like defining what a code owner is, those contingencies, right? And also a big part of like going to 1.0 stable is like the supportability story, right? And that extends past it being um released, right? Someone has to make sure that it is stable quality all the time.
Well,
Um,
later, I think we can make the entire plan of what to do when a code owner leaves right now. I think the plan will be to try to find another code owner because there's nothing else
Yeah.
that we can
Yeah,
do.
I-
I mean,
I think so too, yeah.
I
Oh,
I
sorry,
was just
Aaron, go
gonna
ahead.
say, no, sorry. I was just gonna say, Nathaniel, we don't have a precedent in this repo, like in this OpenTelemetry Python maybe yet, or Python contrib, but like in Open Census, which me and Leighton are working on for Python, I've been doing for Node. It's like literally everybody has left the project, and it's kind of silly because they still get tagged on PRs and stuff like that. Like we just should have a note about like when they should get removed, and then also when a new person comes on, they need to know the API well enough to know if it's going to be a breaking change. And maybe we should be able to mark a package like orphaned if the code owner hasn't responded in like a certain amount of time, and then that way it's clear that hey, we want somebody to maintain this one.
well, I guess the lack of a code owner file or whatever, it's the marker of an orphan package, right? So if we realize that a code owner is not
We should
responding
make
in
it
a,
explicit, right? Like customers or users don't know that, right? Don't look at the fact that, hey, you don't have a code owner, that means this package is orphaned. I don't think so, right?
well, we can make a bot. We can make a bot that every time somebody, I don't know, opens up an issue against an offer package, then the bot says, hey, just for your information, there's no code owner for this package. So we
Yeah,
expect
yeah,
the issue
exactly.
to be solved.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah, so Nathaniel, I would just say like even before we say that, we could just say like, hey, if somebody wants to leave, we create an issue that says, hey, this package is orphaned, and then somebody else can try to take over ownership. Just something simple like that. I don't think it needs to be some huge plan, just to call out at least.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. So if someone add a bullet point that says, if a code owner can no longer fulfill the responsibilities, they should flag that in an issue so that the rest of the SIG can take action to assign a new code owner. Is that what we're looking for?
I think that's good for now.
Yeah,
I think
and I
that's
think
good.
we should make it pretty low pressure because I don't want it to seem too like like it's still people volunteering for the most part, so I don't want it to be too like, you know,
Too
scary.
aggressive.
Yeah. Like people
Yeah,
shouldn't
that-
feel pressured, like I have to keep working on this, like, things happen.
Yeah, I don't want
For
to scare
sure.
people away.
You can use please. Don't be like, don't be like
Make
you have
sure
to.
there's a
Yeah,
please.
yeah, use please. Yeah,
Okay, I will add that
Yeah.
right now.
yeah. I think then other than that, like, everything's fine, and I think we closed off on Diego's comments as well.
Yeah,
So
I'm gonna prove this right now.
Sounds good. I'll do that.
code owner must introduce themselves. Oh man, that's gonna drive a lot of people away already. Alright, cool.
I was I'm happy with them just adding a message in the Slack channel. So I think
Yeah.
it's low pressure as well.
Alright, nice. I think those are all of the PRs that were added. We can go ahead and use the remaining. Oh, does anyone have any other topics that they want to bring up?
Did I miss the CI crisis? What was that?
Oh
Oh,
yeah, we just are having trouble getting our PRs completely executed by CI because apparently GitHub is having an issue, or we have reached the organization limits for resources. So anyway, we have filed a ticket, but we are a bit powerless. So we just wanted to let people know that expect this to happen.
I think Leighton can help with that, right, Leighton?
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Contact your
turnaround
GitHub
time,
friends.
SLA about like 3 months, 4 months maybe.
Don't you know
It's better than
somebody
nothing.
at GitHub later?
Yeah, they blocked me. Too many complaints. Yeah, so for now, like, not much we could do about it except wait. Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
okay, so if there's nothing else, we can continue with where we left. Oh, sorry. Oh wait, go ahead.
Sorry, I just wanted to.
Oh, Nathaniel, sorry, go ahead.
I just want to make sure we had a chance to talk about this release from a tag PR that I had, because it's pretty, I'd say it's pretty novel even across the different SDKs, and Aaron and Diego have helped me refine it a lot. Just want to make sure, like, to the SIG, if this is something that we want, the release when a tag is pushed.
So which PR?
This one.
598.
Yeah, I think this is good.
Oh,
I think Nathaniel, you mentioned that to push a tag, they have to have a maintainer access. Is that right?
Yeah, so I think it will still require us bothering the maintainers to push a tag,
Okay,
no matter what.
I think that's fine to start. And then if we need to, we could cook something up with the GitHub action or something, but that seems pretty reasonable.
Yeah, I have no idea. I completely forgot about a PR once
Oh,
I
I
pulled
see.
it.
So this is after we have code owners for everything?
Yeah, this is just one of the steps that we needed towards finishing.
I see.
I don't know, the issue is linked somewhere, 5 something, but it's just we needed a way to release the packages separately, and this is one of the ways that we can do that.
See, you're saying .NET has something similar?
.NET has a workflow for every single package in Contrib, and the maintainers push tags and the separate workflows run. This does the same thing, except there's only one workflow, and based on the tag, it parses it out and it finds the package in the repo
got
and
it.
publishes that one.
Yep, this makes sense to me. I think we should probably wait till Alex gets back, get his okay, and then, but in my eyes, this looks fine.
Great, sounds good. I will ping Alex for a review. But
You
yeah,
want
if we
to
merge
sign
it,
him?
Sure.
Yeah. that's a good idea. There's no consequence to us merging this right now, because it won't run unless the tag you push is 1.0 and only maintainers can push tags. So it
Yeah.
should be safe to merge. Great, thanks guys.
Yeah.
My experience with Alex is that he doesn't realize when he's assigned to stuff, so you gotta ping him. Cool. Okay, any other topics?
Yeah, just a short one. It's probably in the next after the next week, I'll be staying in Europe, so nothing's gonna actually change. I mean, I'll still be attending the meetings and everything else, but I just wanted to let you know in case you see a bit of late responsiveness from me.
Like
this
like
time.
forever? You've been in Europe forever?
No, no, no. I'll be there for an undefined amount of time, probably a
Oh,
few
nice,
months.
nice.
So
Cool, cool, cool.
Nice.
Nice,
Sounds
that's
Add
awesome.
pictures to the doc.
Yeah.
Put
Add them to the
it in the
Sigma.
README.
How to become a code owner? Gotta add some pics. Add some pics. All right, cool. We have about 30 minutes left. So, Diego, do you wanna take over and share your
Yeah.
screen?
yeah, sure. You want to talk about that topic?
Yeah, this topic, man.
That topic.
Shit.
All right, let's talk about that topic once again. Yes. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
All right. Okay, so um, in the past 106, we have been discussing this. It's a big, complicated issue. It's about distros and instrumentation and configuration. So, Away, Leighton, and myself, we think that this is the problem set that we have right now, and each of solving each of all of these individual problems should fix the overall problem. What we need now is a plan to solve this, which pretty much means making decisions which issue we're gonna tackle first. So I think this is a we just want to have an open discussion. Correct me if I'm wrong, the way or Leighton. I want to say that I still don't have a defined plan or on what we should do first. I only think that this issue can leave for the last. But the yeah, so if people want
Right.
to share their ideas now, or if they want to add them to this discussion later, be very welcome to do so, please.
Right, so the overarching problem that we're trying to solve is if I'm a user or if I'm a developer, right? And I come to OpenTelemetry, like I want to be able to use OpenTelemetry, and come here and either auto instrument or instrument manually. How would I be able to do that? And what is the recommended solution? And I want to be able to configure my SDK as well as add any vendor specific stuff that I want. Does that problem kind of make sense? I guess specifically to Nathaniel too, because I know there's a bunch of distro stuff that you're depending on. Does that make sense to you guys?
Yes, but I think that you have just mentioned only concerns issue 2 and 3 here. Issue 1 is not concerned to related to what you have mentioned.
I know. I'm just. Well, actually, it is because like if you scroll down, the issue is there because like, oh, users may want to perform the configuration files or whatever. If we deem that that's important, then yes, it is an issue, right?
No,
So the
sorry. I think this issue is just about the fact that we have distro components in our instrumentation package.
right, I don't want to be too specific, but yes, but it's all related. It's all related to this this bigger problem that we have? What is
Um,
the user experience gonna be like, right? So if we define that, hey, you can configure with configuration files, environment variables, whatever, it's all like we have to have a good story for how what we recommend customers. Yes.
Leighton, I think the topic that you're discussing right now is of utmost importance and something that we have been trying to solve. But I'm not. I think it's getting a little bit off topic if we try to find a solution for that big problem instead of just finding solving the smaller problem of in which order are we going to tackle this for.
No, I mean,
uh,
like, to
each
be
step,
able to solve that big problem, all of these need to be addressed, right? Like, there's
right?
no point, like, I'm trying to prioritize solving this big problem because that's the one we care about. All
Mhm.
these small ones, if we find them that there's not related to this big problem, then we can kind of deprioritize them and leave them for later, right?
Okay,
This
I'm
is how
just
we're gonna be
yeah,
executing this strategy, right?
I'm just a bit confused because I was under the impression that we want to discuss now just the order in which we want to discuss maybe.
Right, I just proposed a question to the SIG, possibly unrelated to this, right?
Oh, okay.
To get us on the same page, because they were not in the meeting that we were just in, so. So
Ah,
everyone here, right?
mhm.
Does everyone understand the general issue that we're trying to solve? Please speak up, because this is not spec'd out at all. Like, you won't be able to find answers for this discussion without coming back to this recording or something.
I mean, I see I think I see the the big picture that we want to be able to provide our users with a nice and easy user experience. They can nice and easily use this product. Uh, I is that what you mean, Leighton?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm asking the SIG, yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I think this is at least what I see as the major issues. Maybe one that it's kind of defined here is this seems like it's the user experience, but also I would say we need the developer experience. Like if how does a developer develop additional distros? But yeah, this looks like everything that we need to be talking about.
And part of that is if distros are even the thing that we recommend, right?
Exactly. Yeah,
Create,
that's
yeah,
why. It's
exactly.
pretty.
I
I'd like
mean,
to I'd like to chime in just briefly as a user, and I've tried to contribute some things. I've found that the way the packaging is set up with contrib depending on core and like like interdependencies like that. And if you look at the auto instrumentation, all of it is doing honestly kind of magic, monkey patching here and there. I find it both confusing, both as a developer and as a user. I understand that the idea is to give every web framework, every database, everything the same interface, and reuse different internal pieces. But then when you hit a problem, it becomes extremely confusing because instead of doing something like, oh, here's a middleware that you can that is written for your specific framework, and you just give to your constructor like you would with any other middleware. Now you have to go looking through the source code to see where things are being monkey patched and changed, because otherwise you can't even understand what the failure or the bug is. So in that regard, I generally feel that it's better to lean towards simpler solutions, even if they require the user to like understand how to install a middleware in their framework, as opposed to going down the route of meta programming and monkey patching and stuff, because then you end up being Boto 3, and no one wants to be Boto 3.
Oh yeah, okay, so Adrian, that's great feedback. Is that specific, was your experience specific to trying to auto instrument
Well,
or set up
like
auto instrumentation?
two things happened. I tried to auto instrument Falcon framework,
Sure.
and I got errors. I found that it was because there was something being monkey patched internally that only worked for Falcon 2 and not Falcon 3. I've tried to contribute the fix to that back, and I've run into countless issues then as a developer because I need to clone the contrib package to be able to run things in the core package, and this whole like cycle of interdependencies that is complicated. So yeah, both as a developer and as a user, I found that the way that the packaging is interdependent and the way things are monkey patched and made magical becomes confusing. I personally would much rather lean towards a structure where you have a core package, which depends on nothing else, an SDK package, which depends only on the core package, and then library specific instrumentation packages, which depend only on the SDK and which don't try and do any kind of magic, and instead, for example, provide a middleware for a web framework, or for an HTTP client that has event hooks, provides event hooks. And then maybe if it's a package that has no other option because it provides no type of hooks, then you maybe have to resort to monkey patching something. But in that situation, I'd also try and open an issue with the package owner and say, hey, we want to provide users auto instrumentation for your package. Do you think you could provide us, some hooks or some callbacks or something? Not just the default being, hey, let's just monkey patch everything and try and make everything magical.
Well,
think that's
first, sorry. First, I would like to apologize to you for all the problems we were having. We are facing an unprecedented CI crisis, and lots of PRs are being stuck. Now, you mentioned that is in an SDK, the package that depends on this core package. That's actually how things are right now. I mean, we have this OpenTelemetry API package, which has no dependencies. We have this OpenTelemetry SDK package that only depends on the OpenTelemetry API package. And I understand that the monkey patching is magical and can be a little bit confusing, but that is a design requirement. What we have now is a tool, the OpenTelemetry instrumentation tool, that has to work for a lot of different components. So it's very general purpose. It's just a function named instrument that is being called by a site customized by file. The details of how the instrumentation happens are very specific to the library itself. You mentioned that you would like to have just middleware. That is not possible in all cases because not all libraries follow the middleware approach. Some of them use something completely different. So it is it is something that has to be like that. I mean, we have to provide a general purpose solution that works for a bunch of different libraries.
yeah.
I mean, I
think
understand that, but I still think that, sorry.
Sorry to interrupt. I think these are very valid points. I think the point you raised about the instrumentations, that they, like at core, they can be just middlewares or just alternate backends for libraries, and that can be just plugged in without monkey patching. And then I think that sounds very good to me. And if we can do that, and then on top of that, auto instrumentation can go and monkey patch, as in automatically inject or replace that backend or that middleware for you. So we can have best of both worlds. So I think that's a good goal to aim for, but I don't think it's related to this problem we're trying to solve. So I would recommend maybe start a discussion or issue on GitHub. I think it's a very valid point and we should look into it, but I feel like we're getting derailed from the distro.
Fair enough. The last thing I'll mention regarding the distro, I'm not super familiar exactly with what the distro thing is, but I'll say when I was trying to contribute a change to the core package, I was being required to clone the contrib package to run the tests. And so that's the kind of thing I'm referring to. I don't know if this distro thing is a similar issue, but having to have the contrib package to run tests on the core package seems like
I think I think that's because we want to make sure that no changes in core end up breaking anything in contrib. But I think going forward, we'll probably be able to loosen those requirements a little as we switch to
pinned versions of packages. So you'd probably your tests would probably use contrib package from PyPy directly in future. So it should get better over time.
Yeah, I also agree that the approach that we have right now, having to clone the country repo, is unusual to say at least right now. I don't have. Maybe we can find another solution that follows a more traditional approach by just using pip. So something that can be improved in our process. But yes, that topic itself is not related to distros. Distros are something a different package that are not related to these issues that you're having.
Yeah,
Just to
Adrian, if you could
clarify
start
that.
a discussion about that, I totally agree and understand that shitty developer experience. So it is a separate discussion though, so if you could open up one that we could continue with there.
Yeah,
help you
and
out.
we definitely encourage you to open up a discussion. This is very valuable because I don't think we have had much user feedback so far. So any little piece of user feedback
Yeah, that
is
was really good.
extremely
Thanks.
valuable to us.
Cool. So on to the remaining issue that we have. So before tackling any of this stuff in the problem set, which possibly could be related, we have to like look at the overarching, like what we're recommending towards for customers, right? As a solution for our open telemetry, like libraries, right? Without that, like we shouldn't start building anything related to auto instrumentation or configuration or anything. Right?
Yes, I'm just a little bit afraid that okay, what I think you're saying is that we first need to set our big design goals before diving into implementation. That's
Of course,
what I
isn't
mean.
that like the generic like way of like
Yeah,
answer?
I completely agree with you. That's completely right.
Yeah.
I just think that if that's the case, then we need to put this discussion in standby and start a new one.
Yeah.
Because this is
So
much more implementation related and very specific.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Um. Yes, that is true. So since and if we could like open up a new discussion and everything, but I feel that like it won't be addressed quick enough or like because this is a pretty big blocker for a lot of things that we want to do. Since we have 15 minutes left in the SIG, like please like speak up like now, like if you have any ideas on how we should tackle this, right? Because this will affect like every vendor that's going to try to use our library, right? So this is quite important.
Yeah, later on something. Sorry. Before we do that, I just want to point out a couple of warnings. I think the discussion that you just mentioned is critical, it's necessary, and something that we haven't defined yet for a while. But I'm afraid, I'm not sure if that's the case here, it may not be happening, but I'm afraid that there are some certain PRs that depend on this particular discussion. And if we start a new, bigger discussion, they will suffer and we'll have to wait even more time.
Right.
The other thing is that this approach that you mentioned sounds like something that other SIGs may need as well, and it may be a topic of discussion that will have to be discussed at the spec level. Maybe.
Yeah, so it's maybe it's something that we have to prepare for more instead of just like quickly talking about it in the 15 minutes. But it's like we couldn't have a brainstorm session, right? Like it's not very common in that we all get together like this. And I don't want to like start a discussion and like leave it sitting there and like no one responding to it. And after another sig, we're not ready at all again, you know? So
Yeah, so I think it's important to address what you brought up, the user experience. I'll try to open a discussion and try to like document what I think, at least what I have seen in the field, the personas, the
sure,
different
yeah,
types
that'd be
of
great.
engineers who
Yeah.
who use Hotel Python, and what they require, and try to document a hypothetical like package or interface that not hypothetical. Okay, I'll try to document how 2 or 3 different ways people get started with at least Splunk's distribution, for example, from my own experience, and SignalFX before that. Maybe that'll give us a better idea. And for next week, if anyone who's interested in this, solving this issue, should
Yeah,
we maybe schedule a different call?
Yeah, I think that'd be good. Yeah, oh wait, if you could start, that'd be great. Nathaniel, if you could like write down what you just said in the chat in that discussion, like any point of like, you know, any data point that we can get would be great.